For more on this, let's bring in our legal panel, criminal defense attorney Will Buzo and criminal defense attorney and certified criminal law specialist Dwane Cates. Welcome to you guys. Will, you first. What are your top-line thoughts on these charges? Compare them to the other charges we've seen thus far leveled at President Trump.
You know, it follows like a movie, really. I mean, it reminds me of a few of All the President's Men, that film in the 70s about the Watergate matter. It really is. The indictment is incredible when you read it. I mean, what comes to mind to me, at least on the criminal defense side, is, for example, when he has his co-conspirators allegedly going around to the state legislatures and asking the state legislatures to decertify the election results. One of the questions I would have is, how do you get Trump actually telling them to do that? How do you prove that he knew what they were doing? So that's one of the issues that comes up, I think, as far as count one goes. When it comes to disrupting a judicial proceeding, or rather a government proceeding, I think what was interesting there was it looks like all of the evidence is going to come from former Vice President Mike Pence. He testified behind closed doors about conversations he had with the president. That one, if the jury believes Mike Pence, I think will probably be easier for the government to prove.
Will, Jack Smith cited co-conspirators in this case, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani and attorneys John Eastman, Sidney Powell, Jeffrey Clark, Kenneth Chesbrough. The sixth co-conspirator was unnamed, but Smith refers to them as a political consultant who, quote, helped implement a plan to submit fraudulent slates of presidential electors, which is kind of absurd. We already have precedent in this country of that happening without any accusations of any wrongdoing. Past targets of the corrupt DOJ have accused the career Democrats of pressuring them to lie, to make up things about Trump to save themselves. Do you think that's what Smith is hoping, that these so-called co-conspirators may change their story, make up something on Trump to save themselves?
That's the way federal indictments always work. They always indict as many people as possible, because then they start working on the ones at the bottom to roll on the people at the top. And that's the way, you know, they couldn't get half the convictions they get without people rolling. And they're going to put a lot of pressure on them. They're going to explain to them how much prison time they're facing and everything. And so, I mean, that's why these people are in there. And, you know, and having an unnamed co-conspirator kind of leaves it wide open. They can put anybody they want in that slot.
Yeah, Dwane, one of the charges against Trump is conspiracy against rights. If convicted, it requires a penalty up to 10 years in federal prison, and adds if the death results from actions covered under that provision, that the offender may be executed. One unarmed person died on January 6th, Ashley Babbitt, shot by a law enforcement officer. But Democrats have long blamed Trump for the deaths of several protesters and police officers who died of causes not related at all to the riot there. How do you see that playing out?
Well, you know, that's a broad accusation, and the statute's kind of broad on who's considered to be killed as part of this. And so, you know, if the government's gone this far to try to create this indictment, I think they're going to try to go all the way. If he gets convicted, I think they will probably fight for the death penalty, and they'll say that, you know, these people, none of these people would have died but for Trump's actions on January 6th.
Good grief. Well, Dwane, the federal judge assigned to this case, Tanya Chutkan, a Democrat donor notorious for being one of the toughest punishers of January 6 protesters. Many people saying those protesters have been denied their due process rights. We also hear that the judge worked at a law firm that hired Hunter Biden. Is a fair trial even possible here with a judge like that?
Not for me.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Will, that's
it's not. And yeah.
Oh, it's
for Will.
I do think a fair trial. Well, let me rephrase that. You know, the problem is this happened in Washington, and so the jurors are going to be from Washington, and so everybody was following this on the news, you know, nationwide, but especially people who, you know, live in Washington. You know, this was, you know, miles from their homes. So I do think it's going to be difficult to seat an impartial juror. For sure, it's going to take a long time to find someone who doesn't already have an opinion on this or doesn't have too strong an opinion on it. So certainly the prosecutors have their work cut out for them finding a fair, impartial panel of jurors.
All right. Will Bruzzo and Dwane Cates. Guys, thanks for the information. Appreciate it.